it's Corey, and today we're going to talk about how to break down the Island Strum, which is one of the most popular strumming patterns for the uke, and talk about what the actual counting is for that. So when you encounter the Island Strum in a song, specifically with a 4/4 time signature, you can know how to count out the strumming pattern, know whether you are counting the big beats or if you're counting more of a subdivision, depending on how you want to use the Island Strum. Normally when you think of an Island Strum, it's the strumming pattern of a down, down, up, up, down, up. Now that can be sometimes even just already fairly difficult for a beginner player just because of having to strum both down and up. But it's really important to understand how to actually count out the strumming pattern so you know how many times you might be playing it, how to correlate that to a full measure. Because the Island Strum typically, or at least how I often use it with my tutorials, I'm typically using it so that one strumming pattern equals 4 beats or 2 strumming patterns equal 4 beats. So I'm gonna break that down a little bit for you. So when you see it in one of my tutorials, you're gonna know exactly what you need to do to achieve that. Again, all this is going to be using a 4/4 time signature. If you're not familiar with what a time signature is, it tells us how many beats are going to be in a measure. Now, the measure is a division of time, essentially, or a way that we can organize our thoughts. It also helps us to understand the grouping of the beats. Most people talk about a time signature in terms of the top number, or in this case, the 4 of a 4/4 time signature is going to tell you how many beats there will be in a measure, and then the bottom number is going to tell you what type of note is going to get the beat. So in the case of a 4, it tells you that the quarter note is going to get the beat. So when you're looking at a 4/4 time signature song, there's going to be 4 beats in the measure. So we'll count that as 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's take a look at what it means for a full 4 beats to take place over an entire strum of the Island Strum. As I said before, the Island Strum is a down, down, up, up, down, up. So if I were to count that with 4 beats, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you might have noticed sometimes when I am striking down on my uke or up on my uke, it correlates exactly to where one of those numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4 falls. I'm gonna play it one more time to see if you can catch that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. However, there are other times where I'm strumming either up or down where I'm not saying a number. That's not because there's no beat associated with that number. Instead, what we have to do is called subdivision. The subdivision is a smaller division of the beat, or sometimes we call them the big beats. The big beats often are 1, 2, 3, 4, but that term can also be used to describe the weight of a larger beat in a certain time signature. But for this example, I'm just gonna consider the big beats being the whole beats, or where we say an actual number. Now, if we were to add those counts of subdivision, when we're just doing one strumming pattern over the 4 beats, we're only going to subdivide to the and. The and describes the in-between place of 2 beats. It's what we use to very evenly divide or subdivide in this case. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So again, now you can see where I'm going down, it's my big beats or the numbers. When I go up, it's the and. And again, it's really important that you're evenly dividing this. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, if you're struggling with that, get out a metronome. It's my favorite tool to use. It's the best tool to use. It's the number one thing and the easiest thing that can help out when you're having some issues with your tempo. And tempo really relates to that beat because tempo is how fast or slow the beat of the music is. So again, right now we're just using that 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But just because I'm adding those ands, I'm not going any faster or any slower. So now I'm gonna play the Island Strum again with that subdivision. However, I want you to see if you can figure out which parts of the subdivision are we actually playing on. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. What you would have ultimately heard is on our first beat we have that down, on the second beat we have our second down, but on the and of 2 is when we have our first up. Then when we get to beat 3, we actually don't strum on that beat. So what you can do here is you can add a parentheses around your 3. That's typically what we do to indicate that the beat is part of something else. Because if we were writing this out in standard notation, this would be a longer duration on that up. Then when we get back to the up, that's the and of beat 3. And then for beat 4, we have down, up on our 4 and. So really slowly, we end up having 1, 2, and 4 and. 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 It's also really common where you play 2 strumming patterns over 4 beats for the Island Strum. That sounds like this. Again, I'm still playing this over 4 beats, and the Island Strum now has a quicker, faster feel to it. But I'm still just playing 4 beats. I'm just speeding up my Island Strum so that it is now, rather than taking a full 4 beats to play my down, down, up, down, up, I'm instead playing it over 2 beats, so I'm able to get 2 strumming patterns for the 4 beats. So we have to do a further subdivision. So far, we've had our 1, 2, 3, 4 for our big beats. Then we broke it down even further to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're going to break it down even further to a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And that's how you break that down even further. So now between our 1 or our big beat and our and, we have a E, which divides that beat even further. And then we have a which divides the and between the next numbered beat. So with the actual counting, it turns into 1 and a, E and a 3 and a, E and a 1 and a, E and a 3, E and a 1 and a, E and a 3 and a, E and a 1 and a, E and a 3 and a, E and a. For our over 4 beats of a down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how you break down the Island Strum into either just playing it for 1 strumming pattern over 4 beats or 2 strumming patterns over 4 beats. Again, it's just really about thinking about the counting for it and breaking it down so it's even. The best way you can practice this is getting out a piece of paper and writing down the strumming pattern and then playing along to it at different tempos, making sure that you're counting it out correctly. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!